You're watching NECAT TV.
Hi, welcome to State of the City. My name is Jesse Goldberg.
And I'm Colleen Curtis.
And you have brought guests here today.
And
right?
I'm so excited. Jesse, tonight we have Jeff, Frank, and Andrew. It's not
Jeff,
a band.
Frank,
It's not a band.
Jeff, Frank, and Andrew? I'm so excited too. We got Jeff, Frank, and Andrew.
I know. Honestly, Jesse, HIP Donaldson is who we're interviewing tonight. Are you excited?
I'm really excited.
What they have is an online community in Donaldson, which you know Donaldson is in Nashville, Tennessee, right?
Right.
Okay. Where do you live?
Bellevue.
Oh,
Where do you
right.
live?
Donaldson.
Oh, you live in Donaldson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when I caught the attention of HIP Donaldson, I couldn't wait to bring them here because this is about State of the City.
Right.
And they
Donaldson
are
is part
changing. They are changing and actually collaborating and doing wonderful things, at least for Donaldson. I hope it catches. I hope more people do this.
Jeff, Andrew, and Frank. All right?
I can't wait to get them on. Let's get them
All right,
on.
we'll be right back with Jeff, Andrew, and Frank.
All right.
The news changes every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Behind the scenes of the people who run the government.
Councilmen are people too.
Well, that's good. I like that. Who they are and why they want to do what they're doing.
How many people do you think really know their councilmen when they're voting?
Well, I didn't.
We're going to put the honest back into politics.
We are? Hi, welcome back. And today here we have Frank, Jeff, and Andrew, right?
Yep.
Frank, Jeff, and Andrew. We
Good
have last
job.
names, right?
Good job.
We do.
Well, what are they?
Frank True.
Jeff
Frank
Syracuse.
True?
True.
True like T-R-U-E?
T-R-E-W.
Oh, really? You ever see True calling on the show with the lady from
It's not me.
Okay.
Jeff Syracuse.
Jeff Syracuse. Are you from Syracuse?
I'm from Buffalo, actually.
Really?
Originally, yes.
Close.
That must have been funny when you were growing up.
I still get it today. Yeah.
Really? Jeff Syracuse from Buffalo?
Right.
That's funny. I went to Syracuse University.
Did you really?
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
Awesome, right?
2 weeks.
How was that?
I lasted 2 weeks.
Oh, there you
I was
go.
in a journalism school there
Very good. Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
It's a good school.
Yeah. How did I get in?
I don't know.
And Andrew
Bradley.
Bradley. Okay.
And he's waiting.
From?
Come on.
And you guys are from where originally?
I was born and raised here in Nashville.
And you were in Buffalo.
Yes.
Syracuse from Buffalo.
Outside Atlanta, Snellville, Georgia.
Snellville?
Snellville, it's a place. Not snail, S-N-E-L-L.
But you all live in Donaldson right now, right?
We do.
Yay.
And that's what we're doing. You do something with Donaldson, right?
That's right. HIP
Okay.
Donaldson, I discovered them online because they are online. You've got this online community that I'm a part of, and I want everybody to know about how cool and HIP Donaldson is. I noticed you guys have brand new t-shirts.
Yes.
do.
Fresh press.
What's this all about?
Well, go ahead.
We've got the t-shirts here.
Yay!
This is
Well,
an
the big
official.
picture is that, people wanted shirts. We want to raise money, always. So not for HIP Donaldson, but for any nonprofits. And so what we've done is we've adopted the Gateway Project. It's beautifying Donaldson. So we're going to have some sponsors and give up businesses in Donaldson the opportunity to sponsor the t-shirts, raise money
That's
for
awesome.
the Gateway Project. So.
My major question for everybody out there, why should somebody start their own community online? I really know the reason, but in your opinion, how did you get started and why is it so important to you guys?
Well, sure. The first thing is that we're really not a real online community compared to like a special interest type group. Our only common interest is that we're physically all, located. So we're kind of online, But what started is I've served for 4 years in our neighborhood organization. Jeff has too. That's how I met Jeff. And after, you deal with certain problems, but what I noticed is so much of was just geared around home ownership, and it just seemed like a really bad way of determining who could contribute and make the community better, because we have renters who contribute, and then we have homeowners who really just contribute out of obligation. They even at times myself, I felt like it was my duty or whatever, and it doesn't start with just excitement. I want to make this community as cool as possible. And I thought there's a lot of people who just want to make it as fun and as cool as possible, and it has nothing to do with home ownership, and it has nothing to do with bank accounts and zoning and all that.
Right.
And so we needed a forum for that. My last year as neighborhood president, I just said, we need to do this.
Oh,
So-
awesome and exciting, and you're up to 1,800 members.
1800.
1,800 members in all Donaldson members.
All Donaldson.
Really?
Well, it's open to
It's
anybody who is.
So you live there, you work there, you love the community, you drive
Mm-hmm.
through, you spend time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Ultimately.
majority of that has been in the past year, year and a half.
It's amazing. Everyone can get on, have conversations,
How do you get
bring
to,
up.
where is this Donaldson place?
Right? We get that a lot.
Where
actually.
is
say-
Donaldson,
don't
boys?
say the airport.
Where is
East side
Donaldson?
Yeah, that place that's between the airport and Opryland.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's Donaldson.
Is that where it is?
Yeah, so we are the airport.
What,
and
what's there? Is there anything that famous there?
We
I don't know
are.
about?
We're there.
Yeah.
There's people.
Frank's very famous in a very small world. so-
Really? Do tell, Frank.
You know, it's funny. I get this past weekend. Somebody hollered my name out at Kroger's, and some lady came out and said, "Are you Frank True from Hip Donaldson?"
Yeah.
It's catching. Okay.
Well, the joke in Donaldson, someone said, "You're so Donaldson if," and one of them, my favorite one was, "You know Frank True, but you don't actually know Frank True." So,
Perfect, because it is virtual. You
virtual.
are online, so you're basically this little tiny thumbnail for people to look at.
Well, we're virtual, but we are also not. It's kind of like what Andrew said. We've started doing HIP events.
Yeah.
It started out doing HIP Supports Local, because what HIP Donaldson is about Donaldson. It's about local establishments. It's like Andrew said, local people that are hip. You know, that's what makes us hip. So we've started the HIP Support Local. It started with restaurants.
Tell us more about that. That's really
Jeff
exciting.
kind of started that.
We've had 9 restaurants and 1 non-restaurant. Frank will tell you about that. We started supporting restaurants basically once a month. We make an event on the page there. Anybody who wants to come can come, and you know, you can put Facebook profiles with real flesh and blood, and people get to know each other and support a local restaurant.
yeah.
Fabulous.
So we've done 9 different ones.
I don't
And it's
care.
a-
Everybody goes to the same
Yeah,
restaurant.
it's
one
a
day.
cash
Yeah.
infusion
And at one
into
time-
our
Big
local
party.
businesses.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a way to
you
meet
talking
people.
about Shoney's or are you talking about?
No.
We're talking
Local
about
restaurants,
local.
There's Ellendale's, McNamara's, there's Fat Bites, there's all sorts of really
List
great
Trace Many
restaurants
goes.
in Donaldson. We wish we had more, but we're trying to support the
Are
ones
they,
that are there.
They're not
They're not chains.
franchised? They're not
No.
chains?
Some are. I mean, we've
Oh.
got
Well-
some franchises, but you know, they're
They're
probably
local
local
people.
people
You
who
were
own
at
those
Sal's
franchises.
Pizza
Sal's Pizza,
and,
Fletcher's is
Fletcher's.
not
Isn't there a
Right.
Shoney's in Donaldson? Is that
There
what
is.
Donaldson?
There is.
Yeah.
Right where you turn on that street near the post office is?
We actually have 2.
Right.
What's that street near the post office? Is that in Donaldson?
Royal Parkway.
Royal Parkway. Is that Donaldson?
That is.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
helping businesses, but in effect, you're really getting together and
Yeah,
having a really
absolutely.
good time.
Serves two
So
purposes.
It does serve 2 purposes. All right, speaking of serving a really good purpose, you did something fabulous with Donnie.
Yes.
You want to talk about Donnie a little bit?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Donnie he's a fixture of Donaldson. I was born and raised in Donaldson. I live in the same house that I was born in 1962. You know, I've known Donnie all my life, or felt like I have. He's mentally challenged, but he works his butt off to support his family. And the way he does that is he goes up and down Donaldson collecting cans from the side of the road to businesses, going business to business. So
So if you live in Donaldson,
everybody knows
you're,
him.
Yeah.
you're going to see him.
Yeah.
You're going to know who
I
he
saw
is.
him
and-
today twice.
Now,
Yeah.
who is that man? Yeah.
Everybody knows Donnie.
Yeah.
Somebody stole his cans, and
Somebody stole his cans.
so
Not cool and not hip.
not hip. And a hip person, I don't even remember who it was now, said, you know, we should try to collect, you know, a little bit of money to make up for those cans. We were thinking $50, $60, probably, and over the course of 3 days, we had $2,300.
Is that by putting the shout out on Hip Donaldson?
That, it all
how it
came from
started.
Hip Donaldson.
That
Everybody.
all
How do
came from
people,
Hip
how do people
Donaldson?
donate to you?
My neighborhood association, Lincoln Hills, had a PayPal account already set up for members to pay their dues. So we let people pay their contribution to Donnie through that. We had several businesses in Donaldson that collected cash for those people who wanted to pay cash.
He
How
must have been
cool is
pretty
that?
happy, huh?
Yeah.
He's
Aw,
very
how
happy.
Wonderful, but that's just a grassroots way of
Yeah.
bringing community together.
It's hip. I mean,
It
really
is,
is. I mean,
it
that's
is,
it,
yeah.
it's people helping people.
Yeah, yeah. And when I read about that, I was like, okay, I'm really proud to be part of Donaldson.
Have you?
What did your neighborhood do?
Nothing.
I'm only kidding.
Not that I
I'm
know
only
of.
kidding. No, I'm hoping that this fever that you have already pitched out there online, and you're wonderful people in general, just to get that fever to catch with other neighborhoods, other people in town. I think that's what we need a little
Every
bit more
community
of.
has that. It's just got to be found. It's got to
Yeah.
come out. It's, we think we're special, and I think we are.
You are.
But they really, any community can do this.
Do you have meetings, weekly meetings?
It's
or
a really
anything?
cool thing. We've debated this a lot, but you know, we've all been involved in nonprofits, and there's a certain amount of energy that has to go to, you know, bank accounts and things like that. And so we've really intentionally tried to avoid as much of that as possible, so that, you know, there is the chamber. We're pro chamber. I'm pro my neighborhood board, and I know Jeff is too. They just had a meeting last night, but we try to stay away from that. And the reason why is, you know, we can do more mob type stuff real quickly and fast, and have a lot more fun if we try to avoid that. So hopefully it won't come to that, but if that time comes that we say, well, you know, there's so much more we could do with a little more organization. We're very organized, but we're intentionally
Right, so don't get bogged down in all the little
intentionally trying to
minutiae
eliminate
stuff
that part.
Except we will delete a negative comment.
Oh, and
Like
that's what I was gonna say. When you said what is the, you know, how do we get this to catch? You know, what I think was really clear when I reached out to Jeff originally, and we both have our stories, or Jeff reached out to me, and we both had our stories with just neighbors who are just ornery and give us a hard time, you know, is that we were just not going to allow that to happen. And so the only negative side is that some people feel a little censored, but we just try to make it really clear is that we know there is a place for negative stuff. We know, we know that you at some point have to say, this isn't right, this is happening in my community, I don't want this to happen. We're just not doing it there. So we encourage people, go to your Metro Council meetings, speak out, go to your chamber, you know, do that. So we're all pro speaking out.
It's just not on Hip
It's just not on Hip Donaldson.
I agree with that, and you moderate it very well, because there's other key points of what's going on in town. The dogs, you know, rescue.
Right.
What
I mean,
about
it's
the
very
dogs?
important. You would absolutely, Jesse.
Yeah.
This
I'm a
is
big dog
right
guy.
up Jesse's
You're
avenue.
gonna love this.
Boys, you tell.
Okay, we rescue. I mean, like, somebody
It's
will
so-
find a
it's so
dog,
cool.
and it'll be
So
like,
cool,
I've seen this dog. He's over behind Kroger. He's got black spots,
Right.
you know, whatever. Oh, I've got him now. And then someone else is like, that's my dog. You know, I want my dog
We
back.
have
Post a
reunited,
picture.
I think, all but 2 that were either
Really?
found or lost.
And
And
we're
it got
working
to
on-
be so much that it was too much for Hip Donaldson. It was taken away really from what it was
So
designed
somebody in
for.
the community finds this dog, takes him in, and then puts it on your
Absolutely. We put it on our website. We now have a Hip Donaldson Dog and Pet Rescue
Yeah.
that's
page.
I'm kind of looking at your
Why don't
Hip
they-
Donaldson right now,
why
and
don't they do that
Jan
everywhere?
Yates King
Right.
posted
Yeah.
something
With the
about
dog
Doggleson.
Yeah.
Doggleson, how
Doggleson.
cute is
Hip
that?
Donaldson, I love
Hip
it.
Doggleson.
You
I
guys
like
own
that.
dogs?
We
Oh,
do.
yeah.
We do.
They're
Yeah.
my
What do you
babies.
got?
Yeah.
I
What
have
do
a
you got?
cocker and a dachshund.
What's their names?
Mackenzie is a dachshund and Stevie is a cocker spaniel.
And what do you got?
I have a 90-pound part pointer, part greyhound named Bo. And he's a big,
Nice.
He's a
Bo.
big old dog.
Oh, he's a big baby.
Yeah, I've got a dog that's as big as a lab but colored like a collie, so that helps. I mean, it doesn't have a breed, so.
What
Which
do you
is
got?
okay.
I've got 3 dogs: an Australian Shepherd, a Beagle, and I really don't know for sure, but she looks like a Feist. Have you ever seen a Feist? Okay, so she looks exactly like a Feist, but she's a
You know, you
longer
guys
hair.
all probably have nice dogs, but I got the best dog.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, but his
I got
dog
a
is
pug.
Oh no.
You have to hear it breathing.
Monkey. Monkey is.
Every dog
Monkey
is pretty.
is his dog.
Right, Monkey Goldberg.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's
Love
hilarious.
it.
Yeah, I just had a meeting, I guess it was yesterday, and we talked with a lady who is doing other things to rescue, like feral animals even.
Wow.
And this is kind of like,
This is
this is super cool, but so she'll appreciate this plug, but we're gonna work with her, and basically what they'll do is they'll capture feral cats, and they'll
Wait, what's a feral?
a feral, it's a stray.
It's a
Wild.
wild
Very
cat.
wild.
And when I say feral, it's not just one that's wandered, it's one that really can't be rehabilitated to be around humans, but we don't want that population to increase for, you know, for reasons that just, we put down, she told me 10,000 cats every year.
Wait
So-
a minute, 10,000 in
In
Nashville?
Tennessee.
in Nashville.
Oh, is it
In
Nashville? Okay.
10,000?
Oh my goodness.
So what they
wow,
do is
that's
they
a lot of
rescue
feral
them.
cats.
It's a big.
And then they spade them and then put them
them back
back
out.
in the homes, and it does a lot to decrease the population, but it doesn't end the cat's life.
I see.
And most of these cats have already learned how not to be a problem to society, and that's why. So,
These are wild cats.
so
they
we're
were
gonna do
wild
some
when they were
things
born,
to-
and they've never been around humans.
Yeah, we're gonna do some things to help them raise food and other materials.
So you also have another branch of Hip Donaldson. You want to talk about that?
Is that the
Neighborhood watch?
Neighborhood
Yeah,
watch.
that's important.
I lose these sometimes. I
Yeah.
forget about them.
Talk about how it
we
started.
we
yeah.
had kind of like with the dogs. We started having people reporting crime issues on Hip Donaldson, which is not hip. You know, crime is
No.
not hip.
Important,
It's
but-
important,
Yeah.
but we didn't want that kind of face on Hip Donaldson, but we didn't want to ignore it either.
True.
Crime prevention in my neighborhood has been my passion in my working with the association. And so that was actually our first sister page, if you will. We developed the Donaldson Neighborhood Watch Network. And it was for several reasons. One was to have a place where people could talk about crime issues in
Right.
Donaldson.
Right.
Awareness is number one to preventing the crime. If you know what's going on next door, the next street, the next block. The second was we noticed, Jeff and I worked and looked at a map and looked at the known neighborhood watch groups in Donaldson, and the majority of the people are not covered by a neighborhood watch, we saw. So another piece of this is to foster or mentor new watches. We have our first new watch that's going on this coming Monday from it.
That's wonderful.
So it's designed for talking about crime, to develop new neighborhood watches, and to also have a way for the current neighborhood watches a way to communicate.
So
we put
somebody
sex
who's not
crimes, if somebody, a sex offender moves in the neighborhood,
right.
it's immediately posted.
What about,
Right.
what do they do, what does the neighborhood watch do exactly?
Well, the idea behind neighborhood watch is that if you look after your neighbor, you know, one person,
But are you out there,
No.
combing the streets? or you
heaven,
just,
no, not necessarily.
It's just
Not
preventative,
really.
really.
Yeah.
You know, if you see something that's suspicious, you call. Whether
As
that's-
opposed to just ignoring it?
as opposed to ignoring it.
Okay.
And if you have enough people doing that, then the criminals find out about that, and guess what? They go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much work when your neighbors are watching and out
Jeff
for each
ran
other.
a car theft ring from his neighborhood into my neighborhood
You
in just
ran
a
one?
matter of
Oh, yeah, right.
ran him
right.
off.
I ran him off.
Wow.
Ran him off from his neighborhood to mine.
Yeah, last June
Really?
we had it was almost about 17 incidents. It wasn't stealing cars, it was breaking into cars. And they were stealing petty things. And so the police were having a hard time catching them. So
What a surprise.
right, at one point we got our own, what do you call it, where we had our
Well, they took over for
our
the
citizen
watch.
patrol is kind of what we called it.
Okay.
So on each hour during the night, we had a neighbor kind of patrol the neighborhood, and they kind of got hip to that, right? And we actually booted
came
them
over to
out
Lincoln Hills.
over to the neighborhood.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And then we had 19
yeah, for us, no,
vehicle
yeah.
break-ins. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so
It-
they
it-
came over to you.
So that kind of tells you how the watch works. You
Well,
know,
it
you-
was happening right when we were having break-ins in Bluefields. We had like 3 during Christmas,
Right.
and I thought, yeah, it's kind of silly because we know they're going to the street right behind us that doesn't have a neighborhood watch, and so so then that closed that gap real quickly, and they were caught as well.
I think that the new age criminal, if you want to call it that, is pretty internet savvy themselves,
absolutely.
and they don't have anything else to do during the day except hurt other people.
could very much.
So
well,
what we're doing is basically combating that and fighting fire with fire, basically. So becoming a little bit more internet savvy ourselves can really help you and your neighbor, and this is what they're doing, spearheading.
So what do you guys do besides all this? You must have jobs or
Day
something.
jobs, right?
Yeah, what do you do?
We live on welfare.
yeah, we-
You do
no,
know.
Hey,
we
that,
don't
that's
either.
my thing.
I own a software company. We do software for physician offices.
And what do you do?
I work for BMI.
Really?
I do.
What do you do? Licensing or
I'm
something?
in the department called Key Accounts, which is our higher dollar licensees, our radio, TV, our restaurant, retail chains. We establish and nurture those relationships.
Oh.
Very cool.
I sell real estate, so
He is the man.
I love selling Donaldson. I mean,
I was going to say, do you sell real
Yeah,
estate,
I-
Donaldson?
I sell real estate and I love selling Donaldson. There's other great realtors there. I will say I think I'm the only realtor to ever show a house on a bicycle though, because I
Really?
yeah. And I remember one
Very
time I
cool.
showed up and the client looked at me like, "Did you just bike in here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's only one house. I didn't
they
have to
think
take
you
you
were-
anywhere." So
Did they think you were a Mormon?
Yeah.
so I wish I could sell every house on a bicycle, but no, it's really cool. So I was telling these guys, my office is right there off McGavick Pike, so I walk to lunch a lot of times, and so we're just trying to keep it cool like
So
that.
we really could use some more bike lanes.
Yes, please.
What do you
Absolutely.
think?
Amen to that.
And sidewalks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sidewalks and bike lanes.
Yes.
That would be fabulous.
How long have you been guys been doing this? This hip
When did you start
I
it?
think I had kind of made it, and then it kind of sat there for a little while until I was done with my neighborhood service. And then I got it to 200 and something people, just everybody I knew in Donaldson, building it up. And I thought, to take it to the next level, I need help. So I called Jeff on the phone because we had each other's numbers. We weren't really buddies at the time. I just knew who he was, knew he was organizing Donaldson Hills. And I said, hey, could you help me? I know Jennifer Crawford, and I know some other people in your neighborhood. Could you reach out to them? And next thing you know, it's just wildfire. And
Took off.
Frank was
So
real.
you got the contacts and you did a little legwork. Is that what happened?
I started inviting a lot of people, and it becomes like a pyramid. They invite people, and they invite people.
Yeah, it went
and
from
then,
what 600 to 1,800 in the same amount of time it took to get to 600. So
Wow.
it goes fast.
Yeah.
Good job.
And who's keeping track of all the people?
Frank has
Well, it
been
has a number,
our guy to help maintain it as consistently. Yeah.
You have
I
everybody-
work from home, so I have a little bit of flexibility as far as monitoring the site. As we said before, we don't allow negative things, and
There
it's
goes mine,
rare
there
that
goes me.
it's rare that we have to do anything.
No, we like humor. We got
We
plenty,
do.
Lots of humor.
plenty of funny people on
We
here.
really
Well, that's
do.
how I got Frank, because I was like, this guy's really funny. He posts a lot of funny stuff. I was like, we just need to reach out to him. And Jeff said, I know Frank. Yeah, absolutely. Let's ask him. So I was
So
like,
what,
all right.
so how far of each of your neighborhoods, you all live in houses?
Yeah.
So how far of each of your neighborhoods from each other?
We're almost all like
We're
exactly
probably
equal,
about like
mile and
a
half.
triangle,
mile,
probably.
maybe?
Yeah.
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 A mile, 2 miles, 3 miles?
Yeah.
About a mile.
and
About a mile and a
probably.
half.
Yeah.
Really? So what's in the future for you guys? What do you want to do besides take over the nation?
That's a
Have
great question,
hip-
Jesse.
hip
That is a
Nashville
really
and
good
that, you know.
question.
Well, this is brand new. The T-shirts, doing the logo. We talked about
Yeah.
having Donaldson businesses.
What is that thing in the middle of the, where the O is?
I call it the donut. I don't
Is that the
know really
donut?
what it
Donut?
is.
Is that Shipley's or this?
Call Trevor.
Shipley's, which
guy
is
who
in
made-
Donaldson.
Yeah.
The,
very
the,
cool.
the graphic artist kind of just took the name, and this is what he came up
He
with,
closed
and we
his
love
eyes. Was real inspired to.
The nucleus.
Yeah.
So what is
Exactly.
the future? What do you want to do? How do you want to expand this? What are you doing?
Well, like we were saying, we'd like to be able to support some of our nonprofits. Just in Donaldson, we have between, I think, 25 and 30 501c3s. The Donaldson Gateway Project is one of those. Donaldson Gateway Project, we've been called the poster child for community beautification efforts by TDOT. So the state's recognizing what we're doing. Any of their entranceways that you come into Donaldson are beautified with trees, signage, this, that, and the other.
Love it.
And we're doing awesome things. So we'd like to be able to support those kinds of
that great?
nonprofits.
What other
Okay.
nonprofits?
I think
are
really
inside?
supporting our community. I think the community is going to have a big play in where HIP Donaldson goes. I mean, they have so far.
Speaking of plays, isn't there a community, a
Community
senior center
theater.
there?
Yes.
54,
I was just going to
Senior
ask you,
Center for
name
the
some
Arts.
highlights
sure.
for
That's
people
a
who
nice
are
place, that
watching.
senior center.
Larry
what's-
Keaton Theater. They do phenomenal shows there.
Yeah,
They have
Yeah, I've been
Absolutely.
there. I've been
Yeah.
Dinner theater.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been there.
The train.
The
We've
train,
got
we
the-
have the first train stop. So we can run down Titans games and back, and we're trying to be a little advocates for.
You're on the train route from what, Lebanon or something?
Yeah, it goes all the way from
Lebanon to
downtown to
downtown.
Lebanon.
Yeah, Music
Oh.
City
And we're the
Star.
first stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
and
Out
the
of
coolest
downtown.
stop.
That's
I've
right.
never even been on that train.
That train is so phenomenal.
And it's a lot of fun.
I love doing that.
We load up the family and take them down to dinner or whatever. Take them
Should
back.
we get
and they all get
together
kicked
a
in it.
HIP Donaldson train ride?
Yeah.
Not a bad
Hey,
idea.
that's
There
not
you
a
go.
bad
Should we
idea.
all get on the
Right?
train?
That's a
I
great
like
idea.
that.
Let's
Yeah.
hop on the train. Let's
See,
go do
that's how
something
those
fun.
ideas
Then go-
happen,
Yeah.
just
There you
like
go.
that, right?
We can go
Yeah.
honky tonkin' and then.
Why
come
not?
back.
That's a great
I
idea.
think that would be
Piano
great.
bar.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's our hey.
Here you go. Get online
That's
and
our-
start doing
that's
that
our
right
next-
now.
Right?
That
Post
can,
it.
that can be our next HIP event because
love that.
we've done HIP Supports Local with the restaurants.
That'd be a great
We
thing
did
to
our
support.
first HIP non-restaurant, just HIP event, which was at the Dance Theater of Tennessee.
Hey,
First
can you
time.
do hip support? I have this play. Can you do hip support this play?
Why not?
Why not?
Sure.
Really?
Because really what it
Sure.
is HIP support means we're going to bring a bunch of people awareness to whatever you have.
Oh, it's free too.
Oh,
I gotta don't leave before I get your name and number.
Come on, yeah. Come
Yes,
on in.
Jesse, you can go on the train ride too.
I'm just
I'll
trying
even
to
buy
think
you-
of an angle for myself.
There
I'll
you
even
go.
buy your
there
ticket.
you go.
Yeah.
I'll even
What?
buy your ticket.
Buy
There's
your
no ticket.
You're right.
There is no ticket.
Well, I want everybody to know how cool and HIP Donaldson is. You guys work very hard at what you do. Truly appreciate all the efforts and hope to see a lot more of what you're doing. A lot more. And do you have any other things you want to talk about community-wise? You got any community? Before we leave, we only have a couple minutes left. You may want to drop a hint of something. I know.
These guys are both wanting me to.
Come on.
Jeff
Well,
Syracuse.
2015's, it seems like it's far away, but I guess it's going to be around,
that far.
Not far
It's not.
that away. So yeah, I'm interested in running for Metro Council.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what State
He's
of the
going
City
to
is all
run.
I
about.
wonder
So
why you were
we're
interested.
going to have to get him back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
This
here
is
before
his
you know it.
first major announcement of that.
So
That's
that's
a
true.
big
It
deal.
is. Yeah.
On our show,
Right here
Yeah.
on this show.
Yeah.
we got the first
Yeah.
news ever.
Before you know it, it'll be on the Sean Hannity show or
Yeah.
one of those MSNBC
Oh, no.
shows. Or one of those.
It's like when
I don't
Arnold
know.
Schwarzenegger announced on
That's not
Leno.
quite
Yeah, I
there.
know. Yeah, right.
No,
It's just as big of a deal.
We have a great community. We,
Yeah.
we do. The vision for downtown Donaldson is to have the train station to make it a multi-use, transit-oriented, lively place. We're going places in Donaldson, so
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, and that's what people need to know. One, that Donaldson is a great place to live,
is.
and two, that they can do this. They can bring their community together and do wonderful things.
Who's your councilman now?
Phil
Phil
Claiborne.
Claiborne.
He's worked very hard.
Yeah, he's
and
done a great job.
in
Yeah,
his,
yeah, I know.
he's in his
yeah.
second term, so he can't run again.
Yeah.
And it'll be the same thing for our mayor. He can't run again. So it's going to be very interesting in 2015 to see,
Yeah.
see what happens.
Well, we'll see you in 2015.
Right?
Anyway,
Absolutely.
we have to wrap this up.
Yes,
wrap
unfortunately,
this up.
this was a great interview, guys.
We'll put
Thanks.
the
you.
you'll put the information on the bottom of the screen, right?
Oh yeah, there's
Yep.
gonna be lots of goodies.
All right.
Yeah.
We've done the editing process.
I'll go do the editing.
My name's Jesse Goldberg.
and
this
I'm
is
Colleen Curtis.
This is
Andrew Bradley.
Andrew Bradley.
Jeff Syracuse.
Jeff Syracuse from Buffalo.
Right.
And Frank True.
And Frank True.
and
we'll
they're hip.
All right, we'll see you next week with
Thanks.
another edition of State of the City.